Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I was sort of just doing a bit of work on my layout to do with sort of tidying up all this wiring and stuff down here, and I basically thought that I would sort of do a little how-to video on how to set up and how easy it is to set up Hornby's Skale lighting. As you can probably see, it's probably easiest to see on here and around here and on the station as well. I have added Skale lighting to my layout basically, and it's really simple to actually do. I think some people maybe sort of overthink how easy it actually is to add lighting to the buildings and add I guess another sense of realism. So basically I'll quickly sort of show you I guess what I've done. Obviously I've got lights in all these buildings here, these ones here, the main station building, that little waiting room there, the waiting room over there, that one as well, and then in the farm buildings here, if I come around here, you can see in there, and in the little tractor shed, and in the signal box as well. And it's pretty simple. You just sort of obviously need to work out beforehand how many buildings you're wanting to sort of light up, and then sort of what places, and then sort of I guess work out, depending on that, how many lights you're going to need, and then how many light boards. So if I come under here, you can see all the white wiring which comes down there as well is all linked up with the lights, and it goes basically, there we go. It goes basically into this output here on the controller, and then on this one here, on that's obviously on the digital controller, and on the DC you just attach it to these little connections here. You sort of, these just unscrew like that. There we go. And then you can sort of wrap the wire in there and then tighten it up, and it holds it in place. But basically all the wiring is obviously under the layout, so I'm just going to turn my light on, and hopefully, if I get the camera right, you should be able to hopefully see all the wiring under here. So the cables, the links and connections that I just showed you, that wire runs into this switchboard here, which obviously has like a fuse, and then has these little connections here, which are literally just little sockets that plug into those little holes on the switchboard there, and all of those sockets represent a light up on the board. And essentially it's pretty easy. This this sort of strip board I guess is self-adhesive, so I've stuck it under there, and then all these little switches, as you can see, you literally just have to drill a little hole through the baseboard underneath the building that you want to light up, and then just run the sort of cable or the wire with the light bulb light just through that hole basically. And if I come back round, this is the end result. If I lift up this building here, you get this just coming through. I've obviously tried to do a little bit of a tidy up job and just have the wires there, but yeah, you basically have a little bulb coming through, and if you do it neatly you shouldn't have any sort of unnecessary large holes or anything like that. It's just the size it needs to fit the bulb through. And then I guess depending on what, I've obviously got Skale buildings here. Some of them are sort of fully open like this, but for example this building here, it's got this little bit of card that separates, sorry if I zoom out, it separates the sort of front of house to the back. So like for this house for example, or building, I basically have the light go in behind there like so. So you get like lit up from this side, but when you come around this side it looks like the shop's sort of closed. It just sort of gives it a different sort of look I guess. But yeah, so that switchboard that I just showed you is running into the digital controller at the moment. It was running to here until I got, I guess, this digital controller. But yeah, you've got to obviously also take into account the length of the wires. Obviously you can see I've got quite a bit of sort of, I guess, spare wire here. As you can see, it's not very taut, and you can see it coming there, but I need to tidy up all those wires there. But when we come to this one, there's not really any leeway at all, because I obviously had to reach all the way over there and to these buildings and here, and to do that, you can see this wire here, which actually is sort of come unstuck basically, leads all the way over to there, and that's that other switchboard, and all those other wires coming off it are obviously coming into those other buildings that I showed you. But you can see the wires are coming off in different directions. You've sort of got to try and work out where the best sort of central point is to sort of almost spiderweb out all the cables. Obviously with a built up area like over there, it's pretty simple to do, because all the buildings are in sort of a very close proximity to each other. But over here, where one obviously light is going in here and the other's going here, and another one is going over there, and then in here, you've got to sort of account for that. But other than that, it's really simple to do. Just another sort of example down here, that's what that looks like underneath, and then put it back on top, and then yeah, you get this really sort of nice effect. I'll turn the lights off. It's not sort of very dark at the moment, but you can see what it looks like at night. It gives this sort of really quite cool effect, really. Obviously some buildings, I don't know how well this is coming out on camera, but you can see how that sort of signal box lets out quite a bit of light, and over there as well, and sort of on the station. I want to actually get sort of station lighting and street lighting as well, just to sort of give it a bit more sort of, I don't know, just brighten it up almost. But yeah, you can see how the effect sort of works really well, and hopefully the camera's picking it up as good as it sort of appears in person. But yeah, you can sort of see how sort of well it looks, and the effect, it's not very expensive either to sort of do. The strip boards, I think, if I remember correctly, are under £10, and you can get sets of four lights for, I think, maybe, I don't know, £5 maybe, something around that price. So you can do it relatively cheaply and relatively easily, because most of people, I presume, will already have all the power that they need in terms of controllers, and you can literally just attach it straight into those controllers. And then if you sort of have a larger layout, I believe there are sort of other, I think mainly for digital, sort of other sort of, you can extend power outages to come in from different places, and stuff like that. So yeah, I hope you sort of found it helpful, and hope it sort of helps if you've got any queries on lighting. I obviously will be putting lighting into sort of other areas. If I get my light out here, you can see that I've already drilled holes for some street lamps and stuff like that. So yeah, I hope you found it helpful. One thing I would mention though, and you have to be careful of, obviously if you've got card buildings, like buildings that you've quick built or made just from card in general, there is obviously a bit of a fire hazard, so you've got to be careful with that. Just make sure obviously that light isn't on for too long if it's in contact with the card, or ideally try and make sure that it's not in contact with that card at all. And another thing is, if I zoom in over there, you can obviously see how in some buildings the paint sort of finish on the outside, you can sort of see it here as well. The paint finish isn't sort of, I'd either sort of, I don't know how to describe it, it's not sort of all even, like thickness basically, or it's just not dark enough, like over at that station building, and the light from inside the building actually sort of comes through the walls of the building and the roof. In this case here, you can obviously see that this building here in the center of shot has a lot darker sort of coloured roof, and you come to this corner building, it's got a bit of a lighter colour, and you can see the light coming through the building. So one thing, I haven't actually got around to doing it yet, but I would recommend that you paint the inside of all your buildings like a really dark black, and make it sure it's sort of a few coats, because that sort of stops that happening essentially, and it basically stops all the light coming through the walls and only out through the windows where it should. And that's probably the best way I've heard to sort of control the light sort of coming through the walls. You can see it actually, this might be the best example, with the farm building here. The building itself is quite a sort of light yellowy colour, like a stone colour. You can obviously see like the majority of the light does come through the glass windows, but the whole building has this sort of orange glow to it, which it just doesn't look obviously very realistic. So yeah, that's one thing to note. You might need to paint the insides of your building, or whatever you're lighting up, sort of a dark thick coat of black, just to stop that light from coming through the walls and the roof. I would highly recommend it. It gets a really sort of different effect almost. The whole layout almost changes at night, and yeah, especially like, I guess if you've got some modern engines, or I guess some steam engines with like lights in the coaches. I do have Pullman coaches over there, but that track isn't sort of connected at the moment to any power. So yeah, I'd highly recommend it. It's not very expensive, gives a great sort of effect, and sort of really brings the layout to life in the dark. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. It's just a sort of quick video while I thought I'd sort of make while I was sorting out some of that wiring under there. But yeah, like and subscribe if you have, because sort of plenty more videos like this, and obviously lots of other stuff will be coming out. So yeah, thanks for watching.